People, DG, I'm back again, man. Your favourite YouTuber, YouTube's Lucas Torreira and Golo Kante, all of them sort of things. Obviously, we lost 1-1. Well, we lost 1-1 against Brighton. That don't make no sense, but many fans understand that that felt like a defeat. But obviously, you lot know me. Like, I can't turn off from this, and I can't speak for everybody, but you lot know me. I've been calling for two sorts of midfielders or just better midfield options. I think we need to address a lot of areas. We need to look at both sides of fullback, whether that's someone to compete with Bellerin or someone that's suitable to play that position, because obviously you saw yesterday what happened. Whether that's left back as well, because we're playing a dangerous game with Monreal's age, centre mids of sorts, tens, wingers, there's all other sorts of things in it. The topic of today is going to be midfielders, car. For me, people, I'm not going to speak about the midfield runners, because we all know at times in midfield, I don't feel we defend, we help. I think, where do I even start? I'm not even making sense. I feel our midfield don't do enough dirty work, or at least Torreira does, but not everyone else does. This is our midfield. Let's just say that's our midfielders, right, people? That's our fullbacks. I think the key is to follow runners. I don't feel our midfield follow runners. For instance, if our fullback has to come out here and he runs in behind him and he makes a run to get a 1-2 and he actually obviously has to defend, I don't feel a midfielder is switched on enough to realise, okay, I need to go here and close him down. I feel midfield runners, opposition midfield runners, is a thing that troubles us, whether it's runs from deep forward like Lingard, whether it's runs off the ball, whether it's we're shuffling across and he's just being switched on to realise, let me go sort of thing. I think that's an issue with our midfielders. There's a lot of issues with our midfield. But the one thing for me is why I think, with this tactics board, I can say specifically why I want different options. Where's a pen for a little image? Now, who should we say? Let's just say, move this. What can I say as midfield options? Let's say I'm going to put a star here. This is for a prospective new signing, people. LT for Torreira. Forgive my poor handwriting. Who else is there? Realistically, is going to be here next season. Matteo. MG. But that's poor. That's not even a G. MG. Regardless of your opinions on Xhaka, he's played a lot under Unai Emery. So let's just assume he's going to be here next season. So you've got him. So that would be 4 midfield signings. Ramsey's gone. I wasn't actually thinking of it, but should it be Maitland-Niles? And let's say, I think we should bring back Benacio. Put a star next to him, so that's 2 new signings. And let me get another one. Maybe bring back Bielik. / Chambers. Callum CC. Because they can do, as well as centre-half, they can do CDM. Now, ignore him. And ignore him, this prospective new signing. Let's just deal with who's at the club. Maitland-Niles hasn't been given... Did I include Maitland-Niles? Yeah. Maitland-Niles hasn't been given an opportunity in midfield consistently. He's been doing that fullback. So, realistically, let's assume it's Torreira, Guendouzi, Xhaka. You've obviously got El Nene and Joe Willock as well. But is there any need to realistically... You know what? Let me just do it. Joe Willock. If I'm Joe Willock, I'd want to go out on loan. But he's there. And you've got El Nene. Now, first thought is my thought is there's a lot of midfielders here. And how many people are going to realistically get games? Xhaka, I can concede that I actually like Xhaka. I think you can use him in the squad. I know he lets us down. I don't feel he should be consistently playing to the scale he has done since he's been here. But Unai Emery and Arsene Wenger know way more about managing a football club than I'll ever be able to. So as much as I don't think he should be starting every week, maybe he's giving them something that we don't see, or he offers something to the side that we don't necessarily comprehend. So Xhaka's likely to be here. I feel Guendouzi, I like Guendouzi. I think he should be third choice at this moment in time because he's a young bull. I think a new midfield addition that does things right, and maybe if it harms Guendouzi in terms of gameplay, it makes him think I need to up it, I need to improve, I need to fight to play more games, and that will bring the best out of him. Because if you're Guendouzi, I think he's done well. People forget his age. For a young, tried and really untested player who's played more times at Arsenal this season than he did for Lorient, I think he's done okay. He showed his maturity, he showed his age. Big thing as I like about him is his mentality. Yes, he frustrates me at times holding on to the ball, trying to rely on fouls and being a bit naive in the middle of the park. But I like his bravery. I see many people make the mistakes, the same mistakes that annoy me. He doesn't cower. Many people cower into a ball. He's still on it. Because of maybe the lack of quality in our options, because of injury, because of him just playing well, he's one of the first names on the team sheet. And he's a young player. I always say we can't really judge players until they've got 100 career appearances, because that's when I believe you should have some basic consistency in your game. There was a point when Guendouzi, quite rightly so, was first name on the team sheet. He's obviously fallen off this season. So I think ideally you want 4 or 5 midfield options, and we've got Bear here, innit? Willock is likely to go on loan, and I would, if I was him to go and get games, I would like him to actually play against Burnley. El Nene, he's barely ever going to play realistically, and he's probably a candidate to leave the club for first team football. So realistically, you're looking at probably 1, 2, 3. Who did we say? We said that's Benacia, and we said that's Bielik and that. Bielik and Chambers, that's something else. So let's just deal with the man that are actually here, which is 1, 2, 3. 3 midfield options, let's just say 4 and 5 in Maitland-Niles, which him and El Nene is at a push, right, people? I think we need different. I feel this season, and kind of annoyed at Emery for not doing it, we look better as a 3. We actually look better with 3 defenders, 5 at the back, in my opinion, purely because more time you see 3 midfielders. Sometimes I've seen a flat midfield, and we're just better outscoring teams for this season at least. There's no point trying to soak up pressure. But at times you've obviously seen that, a pivot with a 10, a flat midfield, and someone slightly deeper. We've done that, but we're not effective. We need to be able to do this on a more... Apologies, people. Like I said before it cut out, we need to be able to do this on a more consistent basis, because there's different games requires different personnel. Again, it's not to scale, but if we just make the example, you might be playing against someone like... These are all our midfielders, innit, people? I might take them out of playing, they might have to become defenders or something, but if we're playing against someone like, I don't know, City, for example, yeah, where you've got different sort of movement. Again, not to scale, I'm just really putting them anywhere, yeah, but different sort of movement now, yeah. City, we know City are going to soak up much of the pressure of teams. What I mean by that is we're going to have to sit and soak up the pressure, or they try and pick us up. El Nene is going to become a fullback for this example, and as is Joe Willock. Now, there's games, yeah, where we're gonna be under it, people. We might even be outnumbered to a degree, just to make us outnumbered. We might be out of it. These are games where, if our fullback is getting doubled up against, we're gonna need our midfield to follow runners. We're gonna need our midfield to be switched on. Do you get what I'm saying, people? Obviously, the fullback or whoever's on the field will need to do something. We're gonna need to follow runners. I don't feel midfield follow runners enough. Midfield show enough willingness to help stop the cross, and then another midfielder fill in. There's games where you need to be able to do that, people. Equally, in regards to that, 9 times out of 10, with the exception of playing against the top 6, we're playing in games where teams, if we make this a defence now, teams are just gonna sit against us, people. That's a back 4. Let's just say make them right at the end. That's a back 4. You've got 2 midfielders. Let's put another one for decoration. Teams are gonna sit, exclude the strikers. Teams are gonna sit. So which, in addition to obviously needing strikers, people, to make runs and whatnot, sometimes we're going to need personnel who's a bit better going forward or offensive to make that sort of Aaron Ramsey run. Because that takes people with you. That shows gaps. There's different personnel, people. I think I would love it to be at times where we need to be a bit tigerish and fight in the middle. 3 flat midfielders, Torreira, someone who can win a ball back, and whatever midfielder of your own sort of thing. At times, we need to be a bit more expansive, in which you can probably go Guendouzi, someone who's more attacking in the middle of the park, or let's just say Aaron Ramsey at this moment in time, because he's still technically part of the club, and whoever, where we can show our things, and our fullbacks can get up the field and be a bit more. I think it's a crime to rely on Torreira, people. I think it's a crime, not because he's a bad player. He's an amazing player. But I was saying it when he signed. We need another player like him, because if we're playing in games like I gave the example where we need to be tigerish and snap at heels, you need 2 men that are on this trying to clamp the ball, not just one. We play a dangerous game. As you've seen, injuries, suspensions, fatigue and poor form. Torreira's not invincible. He's been amazing, but he's suffered from all 3. It's a dangerous game to rely on one man to do this. Even in the Europa League, when you saw Torreira didn't start against Valencia, what was happening, people? We're getting counter-attacked. and then we're too slow to react and get back into position. We weren't doing that. If we had two, who knows? If we had two where we could see out a lead and do certain things like that, then it would be cool. That's what brings me up to here, people. I was saying, obviously, our squad is stretched, innit? Our squad is stretched. Our squad is stretched. Like, if we really got no money, then we've got to look for cut price options, to which Bielik and Chambers, they could provide cut price depth, because I've been on both their cases. I think if you saw Bielik yesterday or the day before, he scored a good goal against Rochdale. He's been decent for Charlton. He's played at centre half. He's played at defensive mid. He came to us as a DM, and he's been gradually put there. I think he should be given a chance. He's 21 or so. If he's not going to be given a chance here, brother, go somewhere where you are in it, where you can get some stability rather than going on loan constantly. Chambers the same. Admittedly, he was meant to be a centre half, and he's excelled in the middle of the park largely for Fulham. We know at a push he can be at fullback, and he'll get ruined there. But similar to Reece Nelson at fullback last season, with how Lichtsteiner has played in Jenkinson at times, can he be any worse, people, in regards to the selections? Why I say this, because I think, he wants a pivot. He wants a pivot or something like that. If nothing more, there could be games where we're playing this pivot, they're scoring their goals, they're doing their thing, but you just want to see out the lead. To which you'll say, all right, boom, let's take off. Let's say Mesut Ozil. Let's bring on Bielik in the middle of the park. Bielik or Torreira, you sit. Bielik, you stay there, and Guendouzi, you keep doing your thing, and just sit. And tell our this comes into game management as well. And tell our fullbacks just to sit. There's no need to go forward a bit more. There could even be games where we need to be a bit tigerish. So he starts a flat midfield three of LT, Bielik, and LT, Torreira, Bielik, and someone else. Let's say Guendouzi. Two snappy midfielders. He could even get three, because Guendouzi does snap at the heels as poor as his tackling is. So that we do need to do that. Callum Chambers can present a cut price squad option off the bench, where obviously, like I've said, if we're doing that, if we're playing further forward, Chambers can obviously come off the bench, exchange for my man, and we can play a bit deeper. Do you see what I'm saying, people? So whether it's a cut price option with them two, that gives us someone that can do this in that role. Because obviously, if he can play centre half and defensive mid, we need that in our squad, in my opinion. We need other midfielders. I would like our midfielders to be more aggressive in how we snap at heels. Our midfield, or our team in general, we sit off teams. Teams can come and play out from the back. They can get off there. Let's say that's the keeper. They can get off their keeper, play it into their fullbacks. I want us to be a bit more snappy. The only way that's going to happen is if there's tigerish midfielders together with our fullbacks, obviously squeezing. That's only going to happen if we become a bit more tigerish, if we scream. But one thing that's going to go over a lot of people's head is, if we're pressing high, people, what's going to happen if this out ball finds an out? If the keeper finds an out ball into a wide run or a midfield runner, we're going to have to get back into recovery positions. And as much as I love Guendouzi, he struggles at that. Xhaka's clearly immobile. There's really a lack of mobility in the middle of the park, which is why we need that box-to-box energy. Because in terms of recovering, if they were to break, let's just say the ball comes in and our fullback's gone with him, one of our midfielders, obviously our defence will be there, is going to need to race back. So we need a bit more mobility. I believe we need to be in a place where we have genuine options that can play three varieties of midfield, whether you want to do that, whether a flat midfield, whether a defensive mid, or even if you wanted to actually just sometimes radical approach, people, just really congest things in there. Do you see what I'm saying? We need different options, people. And I think Benatia obviously here, he'd bring a cut price option for that. He can win a ball back, winner, as well as passing. Poor writing, excuse me, people. That's 1. 2, LT, without a doubt. 3, midfield option in Matteo. I want him here next season. 4, Maitland-Niles can do the box-to-box thing. He's a bit more reserved, but he can. 4 would obviously be this prospective new centre mid. Ideally, it would be someone like Torreira who can pass the ball forward as well as being tigerish. But I also feel we need a new deep lion, someone that wants to receive the ball off his centre halves. And the minute he gets it out his feet, he's trying to find Aubameyang into forward runs and whatnot. He's trying to create play. So we need that. So that's about five people there, people. That could, to be fair, Maitland-Niles, I want him to get chances. MN, you've got MN there as well. You've obviously got Xhaka. So that's probably 6 midfielders. It's probably not feasible to believe that. So let's just say one midfielder comes into the club, people. And that will bump Maitland-Niles up to 5th. Xhaka up to 6th. This would be my midfield options, people. We need a ball winner who can come into the team, which would be Benassia to a degree. You've got Torreira, similar Erks, and the best midfielder we've got. Guendouzi, young ball, I think he can be competent. We need a new midfielder. Maitland-Niles is difficult to envision if he gets chances. He wants to be a winger. He's playing at fullback and he's historically a midfielder. And obviously you've got Xhaka, who will be at the club next season unless something else happens. Either way, I think we really need to badly improve in that aspect and whatnot. But for me anyways, people, that's what I believe, man. We need to really revamp stuff, man. The midfield, whatever happens in the summer, we need to improve the recovery positions. Because at times, I see midfielders walking. It happened twice against United in the FA Cup and away from home. It happened against Liverpool both times. Milner at home, Firmino at away place. It's happened several times. Midfield runners. Many times I see someone from the opposition. We'll have a break. We'll break. Let's just make it a bit calam. We'll break, because this doesn't really make sense, so we can. The opposition will break, and that's good. We'll get back into position. People will try and recover. People will be trying to recover. But there'll be one this isn't the keeper anymore. There'll be one guy in the opposition that makes this run, and at times, one of our midfield is caught high up the field, and there's not really a react. There's either not a reaction to stopping my man, or we're just too slow. So we've got to work on, for me, midfield shape, following runners, or without a doubt. We know defensively, we're going off topic and it's probably for another vid, but following runners as well, whether it's a back 4 or a back 3, let's just make it a back 5, including the centre halves. Following runners, if he comes, covering the space, passing him on, passing him on, passing him on. That's all football is, people. I played Sunday League, clearly not to the ability of these lot, but that's all it is, passing your man on. At times, we're not communicating and someone will overcover. Then there'll be a 2v1 down this side, which will lead to a ball coming into the box. Again, a late midfield runner, ready to capitalise. And if Leno doesn't save it, typically it falls to the edge of the area here, and it's smacked back in. Like, I'm not a genius, I don't have all the answers. I'm just an honest football fan who loves my football club. On that note, I'm going to get out of here, people. Deluded, I'm out. Apologies for keeping you here so long and them things, but I'm out.